the right I have my steps. Now with the steps, I can actually insert many steps, so I can create movements, which I'll do in just a second. So what I'm going to do is just go over
and you can actually control it from
my
here.
moving heads. Here we are here. And I have my first step there.
Turn off auto.
And I'll just go ahead and copy that. Because if you create a new one, it's pretty much going to start from a blackout position. So I'll just copy this and then paste it. So now I have this step here, which is the look that I already have. And here's the next one, and I could do just simple movements, just maybe bring them up. I'll bring this side up, and this side up. And so now that's my second step.
So this one uses
and
12 watt.
just by there, and it's my second step.
Wheel,
now you'll notice also you have a fade time and a hold time. Those are pretty much, your fade time will let you just quick. It's going to go, let's say you're doing color mixing, instead of just going red to blue with a fade, you'll actually create kind of a color mix. Obviously it works for fading too, so if I was having, let's say, a 10-second fade to where the lights turn off, all I got to do is select the fade time to 10 seconds and do that. And don't worry, I'm going to demonstrate all of this for you, but just so you'll see, if I go into my live mode with my blue scene, see there's my two steps that I just created, and without any fade time or hold time, that's what you get. Let's go back into the editor, and I'm going to select a 1 second fade.
How much is that? Normally they're going to be selling about $2.99, but here they're selling for about $2.50. Yeah, $2.50, $2.55 right there. That's a show special.
That includes toolbox, everything?
No, that's just the light by itself. If you want to use a controller like this one runs about $200.
And I'll do the same to this one down here.
Any controller that has at least, this one is 9 channels.
So once I have that done, then when I go back into live mode, check out how, well,
this one here will do up to 16 channels.
maybe the
There's
fade
8
is a little
channels
too
here, but
quick.
then if you want to go to channel 9 to 16.
Fade.
More than one light over here then.
You can run a bunch of lights in one more. A bunch of different ones. You have different things.
I'll go back into
So
here.
I can run 12 of these lights off there.
You can actually run over.
And so now it's actually waiting 4 seconds before it goes into the next step there.
And you can have all 10 of them on channel 1.
So that's pretty much how you do that. As far as your holds, you also have control of how long it's going to stay on that particular position. So it gives you a lot of controls as far as, you know, now a lot of days if you're watching the TV shows, there's so many synchronized shows that you're seeing on TV. And with my DMX, even a real basic, possible to get a lot of really nice looks now, especially if you're using MIDI controllers, which how many DJs here are using MIDI controllers in their setups?
I love it. 50 watt LED.
Everyone's doing turntables and CDs.
And it's got a prism.
Well, with the MIDI control and my DMX, since you do have MIDI control and capabilities, what I could also do here is I have my 3 scenes which I've created. I've got my blue,
This one has a separate color wheel.
and I've got my red,
separate global wheel.
and my white. I have my DMS4 already connected to the computer, so all I need to do is on the blue, whether you're using PC or Mac, you just right click. With a Mac it's double click, and you'll see some options there. Your first one is colors, so if it was a red look or something like that, you can always use red. Well, this one's blue, so I'll just use blue.
Electronic dimming.
Here I'll put red.
It has the prism.
And for my whites, I'll just use this gray, which is this I can use. So now I have those set up. Here it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but when you're getting to a show, you create, you know, dozens and dozens of scenes. Having color coordination can really help out as far as finding the scene or the look that you're looking for right on the spot. So now what I'll do is I'll just double click here, and I could either do learn keyboard command, where it could be, let's say it's a blackout and I want my space bar to be that. I'll just double click here.
Multiply the image by 3.
So I'll just press space bar now, and so now every time I hit the space bar, it'll return to a blackout position. Now with the blue, I'm going to do a learn MIDI command through my MIDI controller here, and I'm just going to push any button on here, and so now that's set. For my red, I'll and got that one set. And now for my white, I'll do the same thing.
What did they go for? Normally about 5 minutes.
And I'll do this too. So now if I hit the space bar, it'll black out the fixtures. If I hit my first cue on the MIDI controller, it'll be my blue scene. And if I hit my second, there's my red. And my third, which will be the white. So that's one of the ways that you can actually get some synchronization without having to run two softwares at the same time. If you were trying to do that for minimizing windows, you know, that's gonna eat up a lot of time. And also, since it's, you know, a DJ software and then a lighting software going together, especially with my computer, I do notice sometimes I get some freezing, and I don't want to have any freezing when I'm playing. So if I could find ways to access the My DMX without having to minimize screens, I'll go ahead and do that, because as you know, with a lot of MIDI controllers that are out on the market now, many buttons and MIDI triggers that you can use on the controller. For example, for myself, I don't really get too technical with loops or samples, so what I'll do is I'll use those to actually be the MIDI triggers for my light scenes. And the reason that's great is you can actually create such a better presentation during your show, because, you know, even when you're the dollar dance or you're doing the first dance, it's a great feeling to know that you can play the song, and if you had it already pre-mapped, you can actually set it to where that when you press play on that particular track, the dance floor, you're going to get the spotlight for the bride and groom. So it's just a nice way, you know, with a very inexpensive software to get all of that accomplished. Now, as far as the 2.0 with the My DMX, does anyone have any questions so far? So one of the things we added with the My DMX 2.0 is a great feature called the Scene Builder. And with the Scene Builder, you'll notice here, I actually have a grid which will show whether it's my moving heads, which in here I have labeled as scanners. I used a generic profile. And I also have my RGB. So you'll notice with my ultra bars, I'm going to go ahead and do some effects with that. You'll see they're laid out here. And with this, I can actually move them around if I wanted to, which is great. Depending on the kind of effect you're going for, this gives you the flexibility to move around your fixtures so you can actually get the effect that you're looking for. So here, with my ultra bars, I'm going to go into effects, see right over here, and I'm going to click on the effects button, and I'll see color matrix effects. So over here, I have now a box that is actually doing some really nice color matrix effects, and all I would need to do is just drag it over, and if I'm correct, this ultra bar should be responding to that somewhat. Well, with this, all I need to do is just drag and position it so that it can fit the size of the ultra bars that I have. So now if I slide it over, I'm going to slide over this way so it can hit all of my ultra bars. And now both of them should be responding to this pattern that I'm doing here. So once I have that, you'll notice over here in the color effect, it's not one of those color effects that's set. You can actually adjust it to your liking. If there's a color that you didn't want to use, let's say God forbid that my yellow LED went out and I don't want to use yellow, do is just click on that and I can either change it to a different color or just black it out or just delete it. So that's one of the great things about having so much control with your effects. So as far as the effects, I have really cool effects like swirls, and I'm just going to move this out just for a second so you can actually see. About this is there's so many new LED technologies and new setups I could use, like for example this clean net here, to get these kind of looks, especially trying to pre-program that with a lighting board or any other DJ software that doesn't have lighting software that has this. It can be very time consuming, and it's just nice to know that with the My DMX 2.0 it already has that built in, so you could just find any kind of swirl effect you're looking for, and also a flame effect, which for the bars that are usually going in a vertical kind of position, the flame effect usually looks pretty cool, so it gives you that real nice fire effect. And again, with that I can control the number of flames. So if I had a larger setup, you'll actually see a larger grid and it'll look really awesome. And the width, so see there, if I narrow it down, you get more of the red, and your hotspot too. So that'll actually create where you're going to have the main hotspot as far as your effect. So that's how you get to the effects generator through the scene builder. And once again, this will work with pretty much any RGB fixtures. All you got to do is just position them here. And with my DMX, they already come preloaded. So if I just needed to move them around, I could do so. And the reason for this is because if I narrow this down all the way, there I can actually see all of my fixtures, and if I was doing a large banquet room or a room where I had my fixtures, let's say some on the right and some on the left, I can actually split these up to where these will be on that side, and well, these over here will be on the opposite side, just like that. So then you can pretty much create your effects so that it's going to cover your entire room, because with this, there's pretty much no limit as far as how the effect's going to work. So you can just imagine even if it was a larger setup with this scene builder and the effects on here, I can create this whole effect to cover any size room depending on my setup. It's really easy and it's really fast. As you can see here, it took me that up, which is great, especially for an event. We're already there setting up our audio and our controllers and DJ setup and lights. It's nice to know that you can have a software not only pre-program these effects, but apply without having to waste minutes and hours even on all these pre-programmed effects. Does anyone have any questions as far as you do? That's a good question. As far as the effect goes, can you flip the effect? Let's say if you had your bars going horizontal or something like that. And I believe with this, I haven't too much. With these particular effects here, they're pretty much set just. They actually do cover horizontally, so if you had your bars, let's say going across this way, it'll actually cover that whole area, just like if it was a swirl or a flame effect. So there is ways you can actually position, and what I would do too is I would position these to go with the effect that I have here. Okay, so yeah, with this effect here, we actually do have angle control. And I'll just open this up a little bit. So we'll watch the angle here. Spinning around, so depending on the position I have. Yeah, so whatever position you have your bars, you can have this, so it's going to hit. So there it's going to the left, flip it around so it goes to the right. To your right or my right. So yeah, with certain effects you can adjust the angles. So with the moving heads, with the scene builder, right? As far as the movements on moving heads, getting the same thing. Okay. So with this, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my presets again. And I'm going to select the moving heads that I have here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm going to go back to effects. And now I'm going to select position effects. So this is another real easy way you can see as far as the circle effect that I'm getting here. I just select whatever effect I want. And once again with these, I'm using a generic profile, so I'm not getting the exact X and Y movement here. All I would need to do is select whatever effect I wanted to look for. And with this, as far as points, this is one thing I did when I was doing trade shows, or if I was in a large room, I would just use a circle effect and create a whole bunch of points. And with these points, I would find out where the moving heads were hitting, and I would just select those in all those particular areas, and the moving heads would just hit all around the room. Because with certain circles or even a line effect, if you're doing a DJ say, or like a dance environment, you can't just have, you know, one area, especially if you're paying, you know, big bucks for a moving head. You want it to move all around the room, and you want to control the speed and everything like that. So what I did is, and it, you know, it just takes a few minutes, and I would just move these, if you can see here in the bottom right of the screen. So now the moving head would hit all of those points. And if you had a question about, as far as this phasing here, what the phasing does is that's how you get that real nice effect. And when you see the moving heads kind of doing a swirl where it looks like one's following another, you can actually do that just by adjusting. So now you can kind of see these moving heads, how they're moving in a phased position. So instead of just being uniform, just like that, I can actually adjust that. So it gives you multiple ways as far as if you're doing color effects or you're doing movement effects. All I would need to do is, you see here on the top of the effect I have the delete. So if I wanted to delete any kind of effect that I was already working on, have the duration of that. So if I wanted the circle to last, let's say 30 seconds or a minute, I could do that. And then over here, this is pretty much my generate button. So once I click on that, it's going to create that look. Just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to X out of the scene builder. Now, so just because I was talking about it, it kind of took away something of the speed factor as far as doing a kind of circle effect. But if you'll see here, just by clicking on the circle and then hitting generate, it created 6 steps, which will now create that circle effect that I was looking for, which I think is pretty awesome as far as when I go into live. Now it's going to be doing that just on the fly, just real simple to do as far as hitting any areas or angles. So as far as setting up a really cool light show, it's very, very possible with my DMX 2.0. And the thing I like the most about it, if I wanted to get a little synchronized with the music, I can also do that. And does anyone have any questions so far? Synchronization or MIDI control? Nope. So once again, I'm just going to go over everything that I talked about as far as your setup. With the MyDMX 2.0, if you have it already, or if you're looking into purchasing a lighting software, some things to know, we're actually doing a new platform or an update, which is going to have a scan library editor now for the Mac versions. Scan library editor was just designed for the PC, but we're going to be doing some beta updates, and now with Mac you can actually create your own profile. And one of the nice things about that is, just like here, a lot of times you can get away with just using a generic profile. I used a scanner profile for these moving heads, but if you notice, I didn't have any tilt. So just one of those things that if you needed to, you know, like here I set up this presentation in about 10 minutes, but I had everything functioning. That's great. But one of the nice things about creating your own profile is you can actually tell the software this is going to be the fine pan, the tilt, and the fine tilt, the colors, the gobos, and everything like that. So I'm really excited about it. Profile you needed, you can always contact our service department, and it's just a little file that we email to you, and all you got to do is just drop it into your computer, and it's real simple to do. But for myself, I would really like, especially with these kind of ultra bar effects or something like our sweeper beams that actually have zone control, I would like to create my own profile where I can actually do all of my rainbow, so it could be to my liking and to my shows. So that's one great thing about the scan library editor, so you can actually create your own profiles if you want to get really technical with your light show. And also, if you noticed, we still don't have the 3D visualizer with the MyDMX 2.0, but we actually do have a team that's working on it very. And to my understanding, I believe that we're going to have that available. We're going to do betas on that also to get some feedback, but that's going to be available sometime between March and April. So I'm really excited about that too, because if I was going from show to show, and let's say they were telling me that there's a cylinder blocking the dance floor or something like that, I can actually create, you know, that look in so I can know how the lights are going to affect the dance floor and everything like that. So just another great thing as far as pre-programming. You know, a lot of times you meet with a client and they tell you, okay, well, my wedding's going to be in this many square feet. It's just nice knowing that you can create some looks, and as far as how you're going to set up in there all in advance, and that's the whole purpose of creating a great light show. And they'll be just super amazed by the time you get there and you set up everything. And I mean, especially with MIDI controllers and now with the lighting softwares, we're almost getting to the point, and I forgot to mention too, battery operated and wireless DMX fixtures. We're getting to the point where we can set up an awesome light show and audio show. And but yeah, so as far as that, we have the 3D visualizer coming out soon, the scan library editor, which I'm really excited about too. I've never created my own profile, but I can't wait to do that. And but yeah, that's going to be available hopefully before summer of this year. So who would like a shirt? All right, well, thank you guys. Thanks very much for checking out the My DMX seminar. I'm going to pass the microphone back to Chris, Spark QB, and I'm going to get back to what I'm kind of good at DJing. So there you go. You guys enjoy that? Yeah, make some noise once again for Edgar, aka DJ Electronic. Sorry, just threw a Mento in my mouth. I don't mean to be rude and chew a Mento on the microphone. But who would like to hear DJ trying to do a little scratch set? Yeah. He's so bashful. He needs some encouragement. Make some noise. Let's do this. E-tronic. He's going to show up a little bit on the BMS 4.1. You can also come over here in American Audio Land and play with yourself. I'm sure I had to walk away. Did he talk about using My DMX 2.0 with the BMS 4? You can actually come over here. They're going to hook it back up over here to these Ultra Bars over here. You can play with it yourself over here. But
Any questions?
are you all set up? Want to do a little scratch thing? Ladies and gentlemen, also, I'm sorry, Alfred. Those of you that want to get even more in depth with the seminars than what you saw here, if you sign up for the Facebook on the iPads right at the front of the booth right here, you'll stay up to date on when we're going to be doing actual training seminars and getting a lot more in depth. Doesn't cost anything, right? Totally free. We're going to be doing it at the in Miami and LA. Yeah, we have a showroom in Miami and of course our world headquarters out in Los Angeles. So if you sign up, you're going to find out when we're going to be doing these open houses when you can come in, and we're going to get a lot more in depth with all of the lighting software. So the Elation software, the American DJ software, and I believe Ron will even start getting into like Media Master Express and utilizing some of that video content that you're seeing over there. So DJ Electronic, you ready? Once again, ladies and gents, sign up for Facebook over there and give it up for DJ Electronic on the BMS 4.1. Someone just screamed, "Take your shirt off." I don't know. Ladies from DMC, US DMC champ to ADJ DMX lighting programmer, make some noise for DJ Electronic. So, ladies and gents, Arnaldo Offerman, Armando, yeah, no, we keep messing with him. So, very dear friend of ours at the ADJ family, Arnaldo Offerman is going to be doing a seminar on trusting systems and lighting. That's coming up at 1:40. And actually, the whole, so you guys want to be back for that, then at 2:40, I'm going to be doing a seminar on utilizing swag and hyping the crowd in the correct way to, what to do, what not to do. It's going to be a short little thing, and hey, if nothing else, you're going to get some really cool swag out of it. So these guys have done a really great job, and how about a big round of applause for our dealer, Planet DJ, helping us put this whole thing together.
I don't think I'd ever have a need to put them aside.
Planet DJ Chris and the crew, they're up in Reno, Nevada. So real quick, any of you that want to purchase anything here at the show, I just want to be clear on something. A lot of people, 90% of the people that come to this show actually fly in. So I wanted to be clear that if you purchase something here at the show, they will hold it and ship it to you free of charge here at the show. So there's free shipping if you purchase here at the show. And what's going on, Chris? You're gonna? Oh, I didn't know what you were doing over there, holding those. He's got some really cool E-tronic headphones. DJ E-tronic headphones. He has his own line of headphones. Well, I mean, a true superstar. He has his own branded headphones now. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, also, how about a big round of applause for Brian S. Red hanging out here? He is the YouTube phenom. That guy has more views than I think Psy with the Gangnam Style thing. So I mean, he does a lot of our product videos for us. Brian is